Right lads, KentDawg here, and today we are going to be looking at Black Pidgin Speaks' video, Women Destroy Civilization. Right, well, time to get my white knight boots on,
If
bitches.
women's sexual preferences are liberated and go unchecked, they destroy civilizations. If women are allowed to choose, harems form. If women are allowed a voice in matters that pertain to the safety of a nation, then that nation will die, inevitably. It's as simple as that. Once you realize this, you understand the entire basis behind civilized society.
Oh shit, I'm about to get red-pilled, aren't I? Okay, we're now going to see what BPS's main points in the video
And if
are.
not, you'll understand by the end of this video. Women do not, on an instinctual level, care very much about her tribe, nation, or civilization. It's in their nature not to. Women are biological creatures like all others, and they seek to maximize their chances of having viable offspring. This half-century-long experiment of women's liberation and political enfranchisement has ended in disaster for the West.
Yeah, allowing women to have the rights to own property, have successful jobs, pick and choose who they want a relationship with, and to have the right to vote have been fucking atrocious decisions for the West, haven't they? We've seen the complete downfall of society these past 50 years.
And the damage done to the West may be irreparable. And the only solution would be a return to a more patriarchal society, and this seems highly... Get this out in the open. Women are not very good at being loyal to the tribe. They never have been, they never will be. The reason is it's not in their nature to do so.
Okay, so the first piece of evidence that Black Pidgin Speaks uses is an article by the BBC about the Japanese women after World War II marrying American soldiers and going home to America. But the thing with this evidence is that it gives a reason as to why the women did this. And it was because they had no other choice. The cities of Japan were completely destroyed after World War II, obviously, because of the Hiroshima bombs and whatever. And because of this, they had no food, shelter, whatever. They struggled to survive, and so they had to marry the American soldiers in order to get food, money. Another thing is that this is after the war, so therefore Japan have already lost, America have won. So it's not as if these women marrying these soldiers is a betrayal to the country or the war effort because they've already lost the war. Finally, I just want to point out that with this whole marriage thing, it takes two to tango, bro. Like, the men are probably the ones initiating the proposal for marriage, and the women are accepting. And so, does that not mean that the men are also traitors to the country and the tribe? Because it kind of seems like, to me, you're just blaming all the women for betraying the tribe. But yeah, dude, fuck women, am I right, lads?
Women throughout history have shown time and time again they're quick to seek the favors of men they feel are stronger and more dominant, whether they're part of their in-group or not. Recent examples of this, besides Japanese or Vietnamese war brides, come from Europe and are illustrated by the countless numbers of Belgian, French, Dutch, what have you, women that took up relations with occupying German military personnel.
Okay, just gonna really quickly get through this one because the same points for the first one that I already did are kind of the same points for this one. The women that he's on about in the article are prostitutes who working just to save get money and also to put food on the table. In fact, speaking of traitors to nations, have you ever heard of a little old army unit called the 33rd Waffen Grenadier Division? They were one of the last units in the German army to face action in the Second World War, and they had to defend Berlin against the oncoming Allied forces. And the majority of the men in this army were actually French volunteers. So I fail to see why you're putting all the blame on the women for being traitors to the tribe, when there are also plenty of men that are betraying their country as well. I support the English rugby team, but unfortunately I also have a Welsh national team scarf. I'm very lucky that because I wasn't born with a vagina, in Black Pidgin's world, I'm not a traitor to my nation. Whoop whoop, thanks Black Pidgin.
Also, one thing to understand is that female psychology has always been about adaptation. In our tribal past, if women of conquered tribes didn't submit to their new masters, they faced death along with their husbands, brothers, sons, fathers. Even today, many women seek out aggressive men, whether consciously or not, as it seems that this psychology has been ground into women after countless years of our species' evolution. That means criminals, gangsters, and mass murderers are always going to be more attractive to women than hard-working, honest men. They always have been, they always will be.
You do understand, right, that is a very small minority of women that are attracted to criminals, murderers, and rapists, and not this vast majority of all women that you like to claim. I'm sure if you did a survey on the vast majority of women and asked them, are they attracted to murderers and rapists, I'm pretty sure a lot of them wouldn't say they're attracted to Charles fucking Manson. But what do I know? I'm sure plenty of women would want to marry Joseph Fritzl.
Sensitive man, the emotional man, the compassionate man is at odds with what women are biologically predisposed to desire. Young women, if they tell you the truth, are drawn to the scoundrel, not the impeccable gentleman with the perfectly manicured fingernails.
Afraid.
You're trembling.
I'm not trembling.
Because I'm a scoundrel. There aren't enough scoundrels in your life.
I happen to like nice men.
Nice man.
Very nice.
That's a film. That's a very good film. And it's a film. I would probably suggest you don't get women's biological needs from movies, though. If you did, I would probably suggest some different films, such as Twilight and 50 Shades of Grey. It really shows a lot about women's character, those films do. Also, this is Harrison Ford we are talking about. He's very attractive, I have to admit.
So much a part of women's psyche to want the scoundrel that it's wrapped up in their very DNA. Just to get this out of the way, because I have a feeling it might show up in the comments, yes, I am aware that the vast majority of women, when raped, reach sexual climax or orgasm.
What? A lot of this shit fucking comes out of nowhere. Like, what the fuck is he on about? Oh my god. He just starts going on about how women fucking wanna be raped. Like, what the fuck is wrong with him?
I also know that the number one sexual fantasy disclosed by women over and over again is rape fantasy, forced sex fantasy. But fantasy and reality are two different things. So I'm not really going to count this as a reason why women are so prone to consciously betray their in-group.
So what you're saying is that they subconsciously want to betray the in-group then?
The half-century-long experiment of women's liberation and political enfranchisement has ended in disaster for the West. When you begin to start connecting the dots, you realize that since women have been given the vote, the entire center of politics and thus Western society has shifted ever more to the left.
Okay.
Women have also used their political enfranchisement to further the cause of the aptly named women's liberation. Liberation socially, liberation financially, liberation from family, from motherhood, liberation from religious dogma, and most importantly, sexual liberation.
Bruh, that's not a bad thing at all.
Once women were given equal say in the sphere of politics, it was only a matter of time until our civilization was swept up by the event horizon of its own collapse.
Oh no, we're all gonna die and it's all the women's fault. How dare they?
Red pill of this video. Western men have given Western women freedom of will and choice in their own society. And Western women are now choosing who will take it away from them.
Okay, to sum up, thanks for red pilling me, Black Pidgin. Women are destroying civilization because they have vaginas. No idea why. They're destroying it. He never gave us any reasons or examples of what civilizations women have destroyed. He just basically said women sleep with men who are enemies to their tribe. Women want to sleep with criminals for some reason. I don't know, they find them attractive, even though that's like not true or whatever. And finally, yeah, I've been your boy KentDawg. I'm tired. I don't like Black Pidgin Speaks. Thanks for watching. Leave a like if you liked it. This video will probably get lots of dislikes because Black Pidgin is really popular. Okay, I'm gonna go. Bye.